There's nothing wrong with trading with indicators. The problem is that a lot of you beginners tend to load up your chart with so many indicators that are not even necessary, like they are basically not needed in the first place. And that's why in this video, I'm going to share with you one of the best indicator trading strategy that you can actually use, whether you are a day trader or a swing trader or basically a scalp trader. It doesn't really matter. You can actually trade this strategy, and I guarantee you, you are going to stay profitable.
So hello guys, now that you're on my screen, let's get down to business. Now before we get down to business, now today's video is actually brought to you by Light Finance and Blueberry Funded. Now the link to Light Finance and Blueberry Funded will be down in the video description and also in the first comment. Now Light Finance is one of the best brokers out there when it comes to forex, crypto, stock, or whatever thing you want to trade. So if you're a trader who is looking for a reliable broker to trade with, then basically go for Light Finance. And if you're a trader who wants to trade with Propfirm, well, you can actually go for Blueberry Funded. They allow you to trade forex, stock, synthetic, and whatever market you want to trade. These two platforms actually allows you to trade them. So if you are looking for a broker, Light Finance is your option. The link will be down in the video description. And if you are looking for a Propfirm, go for Blueberry. Now guys, down to our chart. Now let's get down to the main strategy itself. Now for this particular video, I'll be using Light Finance trading interface to illustrate how you can actually do this. Now the reason I'm using Light Finance trading interface is that if you go over to TradingView, if you're on the free plan, you might not be able to do what you want to do. And the reason is because they give you a maximum of 2 indicators to use. But for this setup, we need more than 2 indicators. So for that reason, I will advise you use either, if you already have a trading platform, it's okay to be with your trading platform. But if you look for a much better platform with much better indicators and everything, then I advise you switch to Light Finance by using my link in the comment section. Now, once you come over to your chart like this, now for example, this is GBP USD. You can see this is the current market price, and the time is currently, this is 8 p.m. Ghanaian time on the 15th of August, which is on Friday, which means the market is still open. Now, when it comes to using this strategy, the first thing is that it works on every time frame, but then for more accuracy, it's best on much higher time frames. So now when it comes to trading this strategy, it's basically simple. The first thing is simply come over to the indicator tab. Now you have to input this EMA indicator. Now you need to double it. We need 2 of it. Now this is not your usual indicator cross system alone. We are going to spice this up with a third indicator that will make every single thing better. Now basically for the first length, you basically go for 50. Now you come over to style. Now you basically, let me just increase the size of this to make it bigger so you can see it during this tutorial. Now the next one, we set it to 200. Now we'll come over to style as well, and then let's increase it. Now good. Now how this strategy works is basically simple. Now let me clear all of this off the chart. Good. Now how this trading strategy works is basically simple. With this strategy, all you're basically looking for is simply, you're looking for a point whereby the 50, which is the 50, goes above the 200. Now whenever the 50 goes above the 200, it basically means that what you should take a buy position. Now for example, at this point, we can see clearly that what the 50 went above the 200. Now basically, let me come over to the position taker. Now basically, whenever I see the 50 goes above the 200, all you need to do is simply just set your entry at the candle close. Now once the 50 goes above the 200 and you want to take a buy, make sure you wait for a bullish candle close. So you basically wait for this bullish close, then you set your entry like this, and then you set your stop loss a little bit below the 200 indicator. Now the reason you are keeping your stop loss below the 200 indicator is to make sure that what you give a decent room to your stop loss, so in case the market wants to come back and retest the 200, you will still be in game, because the 200 is actually the one that holds the market in the long term, whilst the 50 actually look at the market in the short term. Now after I do this, you basically target a 1:2 always, like basically 1:2. Now if the market conditions are favorable, then you can go for 1:3 and more, but on average, targeting a 1:2 is pretty much okay when you are trading this strategy. Now let's come back here again. Now here you can see at this point here, the 50 went below the 200 again, and you could have had a very basic sell from here as well. Now, immediately this happened here. Let me just drag it here. Now they cross each other around this point. So this bearish candle close here. You take your entry and then you keep it above the 200. And then you target a 1:2 as well. Now basically just target 1:2 and you would have also gotten it as well after so many trial. So this is basically how this strategy works. It's very simple and straightforward. Now over here as well, the 50, you can see here the 50 went above the 200 again, and you could have taken another position as well, no long position. You see here the 50 went above the 200 at this point exactly, and the first candle close here was a bullish candle. Now at the top of it becomes your entry. Now your stop loss usually below it, and then 1:2. Let's look for a 1:2 if we got it. Well, we could have gotten the 1:2 before the market eventually came to hit our stop loss. Now you see how it looks. Now the truth is that using this strategy will give you a very good win rate, to be honest. And on the other hand as well, on favorable market days, you can really get a very long risk to reward, as well as when the trend decides to move. Like in this situation here, if you really decide to chase this trend all through before, you could basically easily gotten 1:7 plus on this particular market. Now here's one thing you must know: despite this strategy being highly reliable, it's also very risky as well, because we are trading the trend, and trading indicators is now 1000% accurate, like trading a manual strategy. But the truth is that it still works. I've used it, I've tested it over and over again before I made this video. Now guys, now let's add a third indicator. Now the third indicator is what will actually spice up every single thing. Now why would the third indicator spice everything up? Now instead of just relying on the 50 and the 200 to decide your entry, well, the third indicator comes with its own metrics. Now if the EMA matches up with the third indicator, then you basically had a killer as that. Now for the third indicator, so come over to indicators and then basically search for RSI. Now RSI will be the third indicator we are going to use here. Now why are we using RSI? Because RSI has a more balanced market gauge that tells you when to buy and when to sell when you are trading. Now here's what we need to do. Now once you add up your RSI like this, come over to the settings. Now if yours is not by default at 14, then you basically need to set it to 14. Now once you have the 14, now here's one thing you need to know. Now when trading with these three indicators, here's the thing you need to look at. If the market is above, if the 50 indicator is above the 200 like this, now before you go in for a buy, you need to look at your RSI. Now on the RSI, before you click on a buy, make sure that the mark here, you can see when you input the RSI, you are going to get a third price here. Now let me basically come if there's an option to add a line to that point. Okay, now let me give it a very unique color that will make you see it easily. Green. Now okay, let me just make it normal. Good. Now you see this light green here. Now that is basically where the RSI number will be shown. Now whenever the RSI is above 50, maybe 51, 52 up to 60, it means you can take a buy. Now basically what I advise when taking a buy to get a decent entry and stop loss is basically when it's above like 50, 55, 56, it's very okay for you to take a buy. But whenever the indicator is below 50, maybe the RSI is maybe 49, but then this 50 is above the 200, please don't take a buy. Now the reason for this is that the RSI, whenever the RSI moves above 50, it means there's a buying momentum in the market, so you can basically go in for a buy. Now when it means the RSI to this other indicator, it becomes much better, and on the condition that you are not going to take any trade until the RSI matches with this indicator. So basically what I'm trying to tell you is that once you have your setup like this, maybe you have your 200 indicator here, and then you have your 50, and then the 50 cross above the 200. Now you look at the RSI. Is the RSI also displaying above 50? If it's displaying above 50, good, you can go in for a buy. But if it's displaying below 50, just stay off the market to maintain your account balance. Now on the other hand, if you want to take a sell position, now you need to make sure that the RSI is below 50, and at the same time the 50 indicator here, the 50 EMA is also below the 200. So if the EMA, the 50 is below the 200, and then the RSI is also below 50, it means you can actually take a sell. But if it doesn't happen in this manner, just avoid that position. So guys, this strategy is basically easy and simple. Now, as I already said, if you are looking for a reliable broker to use, then you can basically use Light Finance. Now with Light Finance, you don't even have to subscribe to TradingView, because Light Finance gives you the option to also set alert and stuff. You can see, you can basically set alert and stuff on your chart, and things will just be marked out for you. Like for example, you can set alert, you can do all your analytics here. They have several indicators. You can see they have a lot of indicators here for you. Here is if you create your own indicator, you can also add it up here. And then public. So basically over here, everything is simple. So with Light Finance, you don't even need TradingView, because they have their own trading interface built in that looks exactly like TradingView, and you can also customize it to the way you want. So guys, again, this is one of the best broker. Now, apart of giving you this easy trading functionality, they also offer other great things like fastest withdrawal, fastest deposit, and even when you're executing trade, it takes less than a split second to actually initiate a trade. So guys, in order to take position after doing your setup, the first thing is basically you look at the take profit. So the take profit you set here is 1.37426. So basically come over here. Since we want to buy, we'll select buy, and I will type it in here, 1.37426. Now basically the stop loss is at 1.35 050. Now basically, now one thing I love about Light Finance is that once you enter your information like this, they are going to show you your risk to reward. Now you are losing 766, and your profit will be 2,799. Now basically you just click on buy, and here it shows you the current rate. You will be making 22.5% of your account, and then you'll be losing 6% of your account in case the trade goes against you. Now basically, I always advise don't risk more than 1%. This is just a demo account that I'm using for a tutorial purposes. That's why I'm doing this. Now you just hit on buy. Now trade has been placed successfully. See, immediately I hit on buy, the trade was executed with no time to waste. Now guys, this is one thing I love about Light Finance. Basically, there's no time to waste. Once you click on enter a trade, your trade gets inputted immediately without any hesitation. Now basically, once you place your trade like this, you can come over to your trade history, and then you are going to see all of your open trade. So basically, if I click here right now, you can see the trade running here. Lot 1.5, and then profit so far minus this. So guys, this is basically how you do this strategy and how you place trade on Light Finance. It's very simple and straightforward. So guys, don't forget to support this channel by using my recommended broker and also my recommended Propfirm as well. They are the ones that are actually making these videos possible. Without them, we won't be making some of these in-depth tutorial videos. So guys, see you in my next video. Bye.